there was aching in both hips. If you remember, it was both hips and both knees. 5 years prior to seeing you, I was diagnosed with mild arthritis in both hips and both knees. I was told at that time to make the best you can of it, but at some point in time it will involve surgery. If it ever got to the point where it interfered with your life, then that's the time to see someone. So last year I was a captain of the golf club. Involved more golf than I would normally do. I could feel afterwards it took longer to recover, particularly in the hip areas. The knees weren't too bad. This year I played probably after lockdown 2 or 3 times, and I could again feel it getting worse and worse and worse. And then it got to the middle of September and I played one Saturday and it took me nearly a week to recover, and I thought, that's it. It's time to go and see someone. My body's telling me something. One thing I did notice, I developed a lean when walking to favour the less painful hip. I was conscious of that. If I went for a long walk, I'd often come back and sit in the chair and it would ache. Up and downstairs tended to be less of a problem. Sometimes at night, leaning on the more painful of the sides, it would wake you up. Nothing too drastic, but it was really just going out for walks or exercises I noticed the problem. I also noticed that about the same time as the golf played me up, that I have a bicycle and I go to the shops occasionally, and I just couldn't swing my leg over the bicycle seat anymore. Well, last year, in an effort to try and stem off the inevitable, I did some research and found the London Regenerative Clinic. And I went and saw the consultants there, and I underwent stem cell surgery in August last year. Now, at that time, it was a bit of a hit and miss affair because the deterioration in the arthritis, we weren't sure whether it was going to work or not. So I had that done in both hips and both knees and persevered onwards. When I had a follow-up call from them, second follow-up call about a year's time, so that would be about August this year, I said, you know, the hips are, the knees don't seem too bad, but the hips are really playing up. And they gave me your name and address and suggested I contact you, being experts in the field. And then through you, I met Kristian Kley. My mobility after the second operation was greater than the first operation. I mean, having said that, once I went to the Claverdell and all the anaesthetics and everything else that you pump into wears off, it was a bit of a reality landing. But all through the process, I've been quite surprised at how mobile the hips have been. I haven't really suffered from any great problems. I mean, there's been aches and pains, but I felt as though I could have dispensed with the painkillers, quite frankly. It wasn't that painful. I mean, for recreational activities, I fish quite a lot, I golf quite a lot, and one time I do clay pigeon shooting. Now, recognising that golf is a 5-mile walk spoiled, as Mark Twain said, I realised that was going to be the harder of the 3 activities to get back to. So I've sort of set myself a goal of 4 to 6 weeks to get back, you know, both going around a clay pigeon area, which is not, it's just a walk really, and then point a gun at a few things, and then fishing, which is basically standing still, moving on, standing still. So from that point of view, it's not going to put too much strain on the hip, I don't think. So those ones, I think 4 to 6 weeks. The other one, after the first operation, I then gave myself about 3 months after the second to get back on it, because there's a lot more twisting, turning and that sort of thing involved. And also with golf, because I hadn't done it since September, whereas clay pigeons and fishing I did right up to the day of the first operation. You know, so 6 weeks there, and then I've got another 3 months recuperation. I'll probably have to, you know, go back and see a pro for a few more lessons just to get back into the swing of things again. So my drop dead date really, I suppose, is from now, which is beginning of December, 1st of March. I want to be on the course if I can. Yeah, I didn't do anything beforehand, and I haven't done anything since, and it hasn't been a problem. The only thing I did in respect to the second operation was the physio after the first operation said to me that if you do the same exercises on the knee that on the hip you're going to have operated on as you're doing on the operated one, you'll find the recovery process should be easier. So that's the only thing that changed in my life. Everything else remained the same. Sit in uncomfortable chairs, stand up, move around, jog about. It's fine, no problem at all. Well, I suppose, honestly, it's an experience I wish I hadn't had, because I'd sooner didn't get osteoarthritis. But having had osteoarthritis and having an effect on my life, I think the experience was great, because I'm looking forward now to getting back to the way I used to be and not having to worry about the hips playing me up, not having to worry about taking it easy for the next 3 days or 4 days after doing anything. So from that point of view, it's good.